Hi, I'm Michelle from Tree, and in the spirit of Veganuary, I've decided to do something completely new, something I've never tried before, a vegan taste test of the new Wicked kitchen range for Tesco's. Now unfortunately at this time of year, my dining room is one of the darkest rooms in the house. I didn't want to let that deter me. I wanted to show you everything I've found in the range, so I decided to set up here, bistro style, in the living room. I hope it's not too distracting for you, and hopefully we won't get too disturbed by the neighbours' dogs. Let's get into the video. So if you've been anywhere on social media or the internet over the last few weeks, you can't fail to have heard about the new Wicked kitchen range for Tesco. It's a collaboration between the food giants Tesco and Chad and Derek Sarno, plant-based chefs from the US. It's been released across 600 stores in the UK, and it's a range of vegan ready meals, sandwiches, wraps and salad bowls, the likes of which we've never seen before. I headed down to my local Tesco and got a little selection of the range. I stuck with the main meals. I think those are the things that people are going to be most interested in hearing about. I got 1 pizza and 6 meals from the main meal range. I think all in all there are 8 main ready meals, 2 pizzas, a selection of wraps, sandwiches and 2 salad bowls. So there's quite a significant range. As I said, the likes of which we've never seen available in UK supermarkets before. Normally to get something like this you would have to go to either a dedicated vegan health food supermarket. Usually you can only find these in the really large cities. You'd probably have to go to a dedicated vegan restaurant and ask for this as takeout. Something like this has never ever really been available in a regular supermarket that's on most street corners that you can just literally quickly go in and grab. There's been a massive buzz about it online, not all of it positive I will say, so I decided to make up my own mind and see for myself what all the fuss was about. So to begin with, first impressions. I live in a very small rural village, so I was fully expecting to have to travel far and wide to find any of these. And I was thrilled to find that my local Tesco, just a few miles up the road, had most of the range in that I was looking for. I managed to find them really easily in the ready meal aisle, and I managed to spot them from halfway down the aisle because of a vertical shelf edge branding that was quite prominent, so it was dead easy to find them. They seemed to have quite a good selection of the main meals. They had both pizzas and the salad bowls. I didn't find any of the wraps or sandwiches, but I'm not sure if that's because they're maybe been stored separately, possibly in the grab and go chillers where the rest of the sandwiches are. I'm not sure about that, but I've made up my mind that I wanted to test the main meals anyway, because I think these are the things that the people are going to be most excited about. First impressions on the packaging. They're very nicely packaged. It's very minimalist packaging. Looks quite fresh, quite clean, and I think it would appeal to quite a younger generation. I really do like the fact that they're letting the food speak for themselves, so it's just a very simple cardboard sleeve, and the majority of the space is then taken up, I would say about 3/4, so you can actually see the food inside. That's very different from usual ready meal packaging, where there'd be a photoshopped, highly stylised image on the front that doesn't in any way represent the flaccid, indescribable mess that you usually get shoved inside ready meal cartons. So I really like the fact that they've got such faith in their product that they're willing to just show you exactly what's in there. It's really obvious to see what you're going to be buying, what you're going to be eating. I can tell what each one of these vegetables is. There's nothing hidden, it all seems quite open, quite upfront, and I do really like that about the packaging. On the negative side, one thing I will say is that I did have to look through the full range available to try and find the ones which I thought would be most visually pleasing on camera. That's purely something for myself. Obviously not everybody's going to be filming, not everybody's going to need them to look as perfect as I wanted. But one thing I did notice is that a lot of them, which is obviously something that's going to happen quite regularly, seem to have been flipped on the shelf. So when you then flip them back, quite a lot of the packages had sauce stuck to the lids. quite a lot of them, the ingredients had moved around, the ingredients had slipped to one end, which made it look as if the carton was not as full as it could have been. And obviously that's just a little negative, but I do fully expect that this packaging is likely to change as the range develops and as the Wicked Kitchen starts getting feedback from Tesco, because I just think that some of the meals didn't look as appetising purely because of the way they'd been handled and potentially stored. So for example, the curried cauliflower and onion bhaji, this was the only one where I could actually see the onion bhajis. The rest of them, the sauce had kind of migrated from here quite far across the top of the tub, and it was quite hard to see what was then in the packaging. As I say, it's not really a deal breaker for me, but for anybody that's a little bit hesitant of trying the range, anybody that is looking along the shelf to decide what they're going to buy, it might just be a little bit off-putting if some of the range doesn't look quite as visually appealing. For me, I'd much rather be able to see the actual food that I'm buying, but for some people, as I say, that could well be a deal breaker. So that's just something to bear in mind. Probably if I go back in the future, having tasted this range, knowing that I liked it, knowing that I enjoyed it, I wouldn't necessarily look for the most aesthetically pleasing, because once you've mixed it all up and it all goes in the same way anyway. But I think it is something for the manufacturers to consider. Now, having said that, by all accounts, everything I'm reading on social media, everything I'm reading online says that this stuff is flying off the shelves. They literally can't keep up to the demand for it, which is brilliant. It's brilliant in terms of letting these massive corporations like Tesco know that there is a huge demand for this type of food. It's brilliant that a lot of people are probably trying this range that maybe aren't vegan, that are trying veganuary out, that are just literally picking it up off the shelf and completely unaware of any of the connotations behind it, of the fact that it's even vegan possibly. They're just out there looking for a fast tasty meal and they're deciding to pick up this range. I really don't think there are enough vegans in the UK to be the ones that are buying this food out. Possibly some of you are stockpiling it, I'm not quite sure. All power to you if that's you. But I really like the fact that we're showing that there is a massive need for this product. One thing I will say about stockpiling is that obviously these are all fresh ready meals, which means that they're all to be kept refrigerated. None of these are suitable for home freezing, so you do need to bear that in mind when you're purchasing. You do need to take account of the use by date. Because they are fresh products, it is a use by date and not a best before date, so that does need to be taken into consideration. I do think that there's enough in the range that you could eat them day after day after day and not get too bored. There's quite a variety here. Got a couple of pasta dishes, a noodle dish, a couple of rice dishes, curry style, and obviously the pizza, and there were a couple of other dishes that I didn't manage to get my hands on. But all in all, my first impressions is that I'm really impressed with the range. One thing I will say about the packaging is that these sleeves are quite loose, so there is the potential for the sleeves to come apart from the packaging and to then get mixed up and placed back on the wrong packets whilst they're being stored in the supermarket. It's only a slight risk, but I think for anybody particularly anybody that has concern over allergens, I do think that is something to bear in mind, is just to pay attention to the little description on the front. You can see clearly enough into the packet to decide whether or not that description describes what you're seeing there, and if it doesn't, it might be worth comparing a couple of different packs just to make sure that you have got the correct sleeve on the correct pack. And again, that's just a really minor detail, but for anybody that suffers with allergies, it could potentially be quite significant, so that's just something else to bear in mind. I've decided that I'm going to test one of these products over the coming week. For anybody that was expecting one big taste test of all the range in one video, I'm really sorry to disappoint you, but that's not going to happen. I just can't bring myself to heat up all of these all at once, to pick bits from each and then possibly risk the rest of it going to waste. For me, minimising food wastage is much more important than getting these out on a very strict schedule. So I hope you can bear with me on that. What I am planning on doing is I am doing a taste test immediately, which I will link to this introduction video. And what I'm going to do is for the rest of the week is as I test each individual item, each time I produce a new taste test video, I'm going to link it into the description of the original introduction video. So possibly if you've come to this video beyond the next few weeks, all these taste tests will already be linked in the description box below. To those of you that are going to follow along in real time, day by day by day, I really thank you for your patience. If you've tried any of the range, let me know in the comments below what was your favourite. I'm going to get straight into the taste test for this, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.